In today's video I want to talk about the Cafe Racer windscreen that I put on the bike here today, and I'm happy how it turned out. I hope the step-by-step instructions help you guys to install the Cafe Racer if you wish to do by yourself. It's just few trial and error, nothing fancy or crazy, but in order to get the alignment right you have to test it out, do some trial and error, that's all. Alright, so the way to install is you see these holes here, right here. There is a notch, so you have to pry it through the hole like so. Hey guys, in today's video we are going to remove the puge windscreen and replace it with the Kawasaki Cafe Racer style. So let's begin. So there is a plastic piece here, so we have to pry it out, but make sure you're not scratching anything if you're using the screwdriver. Ideally you should use a plastic prier to pry these things out, so it looks something like this. Alright, moving on to next step. This looks like an Allen key. Let's see if it's 3mm. It is, okay. So with the 3mm Allen key, just try to slowly remove this and hold the windscreen so that it doesn't fall off. So I'm gonna loosen all the 4 sections before completely removing it. Alright, there you go. In my case it all came together and you can see. And with puge, I don't know if it's called puge or puig. I think in Revzilla I have heard him calling it as puge, so I'm gonna call it the same thing. So you have to attach the puge using a separate mounting point. So in this case I have something that's sticking out like this. Alright, so using a 6mm Allen key you can remove this stuff. So it came like this, so just have to remove the whatever spacer and then put it back the same way. So I'm going to put this back. Now that we have removed the bracket, now it's time to put the Kawasaki fork adapter for the Cafe Racer. So for the Cafe Racer you get this attachment, something that looks like this, and it has to go on to the bracket like so. So in order to do that you need a attachment that goes onto the bracket, onto the fork. So let's see. In the pack you get something like this, and what it is like a bracket that goes onto the fork. It will be even completely blacked out after fitting this one. So it also comes with some bolt obviously, and that's all it needs, the bolt and the bracket. So I'm going to start with the right, which is on the other side. So they have 2 of these, and then it goes onto the fork and then close it like that, so that you have the fork going inside. You can attach the provided bolt onto the fork through these 4 pins, and then the windshield attachment goes into these 2 holes. Alright, so let's try that. Alright, so this is kind of a rubber that has a sticker at the back. There is a rubber piece to dampen any vibration and also to prevent any scratches happening onto the fork itself, because when you mount it, it's obviously going to touch it. Since it's going to be here permanent, it's going to be time to clean this up, because you will not have access to the fork. Okay, let me clean on the other side as well. So off the camera I'm going to put these rubber paddings back onto the other 4 sides, so it's going to look something like this. We will have 1, 2. Alright, so I have attached the rubber paddings on all 4 of them, so it will look something like that. as you can see at the top and the bottom. So that's how it goes. All right, for time being I'm going to put just one. Do not over tighten it, just keep it loose so that you can adjust the position of this angle for this one, because it depends on where it goes. And yeah, I think the reason you have to remove the headlight is because to put the last bolt in, it will be tough without moving the headlight out of the way, because you will not get an angle. So we would have to remove the headlight, put it up, and I'm going to show you how to remove the headlight because it's pretty easy. There is a 2 screw at here, so that's also 5 millimeter. So just take that one out, look at the letter and then just align it. Alright, so as per the instruction manual, we have to attach the entire bracket onto the windshield first before we can put it on here. Alright, so the way to install is, you see these holes here, right here. You see that round, there is a notch. So you have to pry it through the hole, like so. So that it sits on this one on both sides, on the front and on the back. I mean, it always focuses on my eyes, it's hard to focus. So yeah, there you go. Like you have to have something like that, rubber garment, and then you put that inside here so it's flush, something like that. Just have to make sure you take your nut like so, this nut, there you go. So the tool you need is a 5 millimeter and then you need a 10 millimeter. Hold the nut inside with the 10 millimeter, and on the outside I have this 5 millimeter. Once you have that, it will look something like this on the inside, and on the outside it will look something like this. Alright, so we did the left side, now it's time to do the right side, that marking. But on the actual metal itself there is no left and right, so kept it in the cover until I'm ready to install. So that way it goes in. Alright, there you go. Now put the last rubber gasket also through the hole, flat, and push it through the front. That goes inside, so it has to go something like this. Put on one side, unscrew it and make sure it's getting on threaded right, because you don't want to cross thread these things. So alright, I think that's all there to it. So as you can see, this is how the back side looks and this is how the front looks. Now we just have to clean it up, but otherwise it's looking good. Now it's time to mount it on to the bike and see how it goes. To mount it onto the bike is these screws here that goes on to the bike. I think it's better to use cloth. I use some, I don't know what this is called, that comes in the pack, but it still left some scratches onto this. So be careful when you are installing, if you have cloth to cover it, or when it comes with the plastic cover, so just keep that until you install these brackets before taking it out. Alright, now this is looking good. Let's go and put it onto the bike. Alright guys, so now it's time to mount the windshield onto the bracket. So it has to turn this way because the way these things are. Look at that. That's how it should look like. Take this out. Let me see if I can bring it through the side. Alright, so without removing the headlight, I was able to turn it through because I was able to loosen the bolt right there. So now, let me see. Now it's time to put on the final windscreen, and hopefully this time it will line up. So just to try out something different, this time we will start on this side. So let me start at the bottom. Okay, looking good. Let me tighten all this up and I'll show you the final product. So this is how it looks like from the front. So on the side, and similarly on the other side. This is how it looks from the front. It looks so much better. I like this look of it. Alright guys, so this is the first ride after putting the Cafe Racer windscreen. So let's go. Alright, so this is the first ride after installing the Cafe Racer.